Hey everyone, welcome to this week's show. Special guest this week, bringing the color back into the show here. We got Neil. Thanks for joining us, Neil. It's been a while.
Yes, sir. Thanks, sir. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. And you're
And
right, introducing the color back into the show, you know?
that's it. It was very important. The
Yeah.
only color we talk about these days is gold, golden cocks. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But thanks for joining us. Corey, as always, is here, of course, because what else did we do during the week?
Got nothing else going on Monday night.
I must say, like last week was an exception, but most of the time this year we've been pretty good at getting them done early in the week.
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday night, usually it's done. Last week a little later, but sometimes we have lives. Fuck off. We, we got a lot to talk about. There was a lot of trades that went down just today. I think there was something like 8 trades today. So today was a very busy day. People declared that they're in the seller's market. I have a feeling some others might be joining soon. I think Travis is on teetering on the edge of imploding a little later than usual. But yeah, let's start off with last week's results. Some big matchups last week. I know some a little bit of movement in the standings here. So let's get into this here. Let's talk about the first matchup, which I always enjoy the most. Team Ramrod now sit at 7-1 after defeating Rasmus Dahlin Fan Club, who's now 5-3, sitting in fourth place, 9-3. Neil, you're the guest. Let's start with you. What do you think of this matchup?
Well, you kind of ran away with it from the beginning of the week till the end of the week. There was a couple of close stats on there, but I mean, nothing really out of the ordinary. So I guess the prediction was you taking it, and you did take it. So good on you. I don't
Just
want
what
to
I
give
do.
too much positive towards you.
I know you don't. I know you don't. But everything you
Yeah.
want to be. I know it, Neil. I know
Yo, damn. Yeah.
it.
I want to be like
Corey,
Mike, not Shane.
Corey, what do you think?
Yeah, the goalie stats were really tight. I mean, he could easily have taken three of those categories and it'd be a 6-6 week. So closer than the score looks. But yeah, good on you to keep going.
All right. I guess another matchup we want to talk about. I'm not gonna say much about that except that I knew you were gonna lose, Derek. It's just how it is. Sorry, you had to run into me, but it was gonna happen eventually. We'll see you the second time around. Suck my Ojik, now in sixth place at 4-3-1. After defeating the newly named Braden Byweek with his lovely new logo of the Caucasaurus, who now sits at 4-4 in 10th place. Neil, let's start with you again. Tell me about your matchup here.
Well, before I start on the matchup, I'd like to say, Braden, you see how Travis took that picture and changed his profile pic? Please do the same and honor your dishonor, I guess. Um, yeah, this was the week started off pretty close. We were like what 6-5, 7-5, 7-6, going back and forth. And then in the middle of the week, I kind of, took a big lead. And then Saturday concerned me because his guys had a big week and brought it back down to like a close matchup. But Sunday was the clincher for me, so I was pretty happy in taking this win, putting me above 500 for I guess the first time this year, and in sixth place. So
Yeah,
kind of
you got
happy
off to
about
a
that.
rough start, but you're on the right track lately.
Yeah, and I have a couple good matchups coming my way, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I was saying that today at work too. I was like, I got through my tough matchups. I have fucking Travis this week. I have Casey next week. I have Bergeron the week after. I have Daltrey the week after that. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's pretty much my territory right now too, so I'm kind of excited for that.
This is the part of
See,
the season I've been waiting for, guys. I'm gonna kick
yeah,
my legs
yeah.
up here. Corey, what do you think of this matchup?
Yeah, I'd say Travis, what the fuck are you thinking about selling for already? You're 4-4. Like Jesus Christ, dude. This was a pretty close matchup. for the most part. He only a couple goals and assists behind. The goalie stats were fairly close, but he took it. You win 4-0. But yeah, big win for you. I know you had a pretty slow start, so it's good. It's good on you to see you in 6th place now.
Yeah, yeah, I'm kind of happy about that. Who would have thought that Skinner would have saved my friggin' week?
He's been good.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like Skinner. That was a
Waiver
yeah,
wire.
yeah, yeah,
Waiver wire trash.
yeah.
But
He's doing what you
sometimes
got
you
to
need
do.
that trash.
Yep,
And if you need that trash, you know where to go.
See
the trash man.
Well, he's building a reputation on that. Clef Bomb now sitting at 4-4 in 9th place. I must have the tiebreaker over the Braden bye week here. After defeating Cherry Big and Daddy 11-3 and handing him his 8th straight loss. Now he was bragging today about possibly beating E-Rock's record of 19 losses. We might be seeing history here, guys. Corey, why don't you tell me about this matchup?
Yeah, Kyle Plum taking a big win. Needing the win too. He couldn't afford another loss here, I'd say. But getting a big win over Kyle. Goalie stats going 4-0 is huge. The player stats, there were some close categories, but in 11-3, it's a lot to overcome.
Anything, Neil?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I think the predictions were that Plummador was going to win, and I mean, we all know Kyle doesn't really have a good team at the moment, so which is why he's selling. But yeah, I'm hoping he does break this record and you know, and earn a nice trophy at the end of the year for it. So
Rightfully so after he paid for it.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
It belongs to him. He just didn't want to win it the first year, you know? He didn't want favoritism.
Yeah,
He's like, I'll let him
yeah,
have it, and then I'll win.
exactly, exactly.
Good on Kyle. I like the approach he's taken, though. Like, just go all into the rebuild if you're gonna do it. You know, he needs a hard reset for his roster. Like, there's not much
Yeah.
on there, right? So gather the assets, make some deals that make sense for you. We'll talk about one of the ones later that I thought was really good for him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I'm talking about that one too, but that's not the one I want to talk about. I know what you're thinking, like the draft picks, but no.
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah. We'll get to that.
Yeah. Wonton Soup sitting at 3-4-1 now, 12th place after defeating the lowly Try the Beef 9-4. Sitting at 1-7. Only one team worse than him, and that's Kyle. Neil, why don't you tell me about this one?
I was kind of shocked actually with this one. I thought Daltrey was going to take it, but Casey came out strong, I guess, and took it to Daltrey, and I guess that's what prompted the rebuild or the selling or whatever Daltrey's doing right now. But yeah, it was a kind of shocking defeat. I thought Daltrey was going to be able to take it, but I guess not.
Yeah, I don't know if Daltrey's the same team anymore, you know? What were you gonna say, Corey?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I thought Daltrey was gonna come out with a win here, but I think it even shows that his team is even a little bit weaker than we thought. But we saw the Dallas guys doing it too, though, for Casey, right? They did a great week, so I think that was the difference maker.
I was just gonna say we don't have the Florida boys anymore, but we have those Dallas boys.
Yeah.
They're on a tear. Like I think Hintz had like hat trick in 2 games this week. Like they were on fire.
8
Well,
goals, 4 assists between the two of them.
Yeah, looking at the stats though, there's a couple of close ones Daltrey could have, you know, like they were tied in power play points. So I mean, if he got in that one, he could have took a point away from them there. Game winning goals, he was off by 1 shot, and even the goalie stats, like 340 goals against versus 341. So there was a couple of close stats there. But
I was talking to Daltrey at work last week, and he was telling me that that's the big thing. Like almost every matchup this year, it was close. He could have won. So maybe he jumped into the rebuild a little too soon, but maybe just thought also it's too big of a hill to climb right now with where he is.
I agree with that. 1-7, that's a pretty big hole to climb out of. You know what I mean? Because
It's
there's
not
a lot of teams that
impossible, but
no,
unlikely.
but it's a lot of teams you gotta leapfrog and hope that they lose in order for you to get ahead. But yeah,
Who knows? He might end up with a better team than he had. That happens a lot of times. Right? People start selling off pieces, they start winning games. Like,
yeah, exactly.
um, this one kind of surprised me just because I like Braden's team this year. He takes his second consecutive loss, dropping the 5-2-1, sitting in second place now, Braden. I know that hurts. Um, After losing to Dude Where's Makar, who's now 3-4-1, sitting in 13th. Corey, why don't you tell me about this one?
Yeah, this is Dan's goalies went 4-1 in the on the week, only not taking shutouts, which is kind of funny. Um, but that ended up being the difference maker with the 8-4 win. I know Dan's players are pretty strong, so I competed with Braden's, but his goalies were better. And Braden had Jones in that big 9-8
That
shootout
9-8
against LA.
blowout.
Yeah, so like he got the win, but yeah, that's a big upside on for Dan, but it's good for him to get a win because he's had a pretty slow start too.
Uh, Neil, why don't you tell me about this?
Yeah, I was kind of shocked about this one too, considering Braden's at the top and his team is pretty good this year. Even though you handed him his first loss, I didn't think he'd suffer another loss to Dan. But good on Dan for taking it to him, and I don't mind seeing Braden fall because him falling means me climbing. So hey, I'm all for it.
You want his spot? I get it.
That's right. I just want a playoff spot. I don't care what spot it is. Once I'm in the
That's
playoffs,
it.
watch out. You know what I mean?
You're always hoping for people above you to just lose, right? It's just like, come on,
That's right.
drop a
Yeah,
bit, let me catch up to improve my odds.
that's right. That's right.
Oh, I know Corey's been waiting to talk about this one.
Whew.
Sauce Pass here at 4-2-2, now in fifth place. I know it's been a while since you've been in playoff contention. Uh, defeating Saturated Rumble here at 5-3, 9-4. Why don't you tell me about this one, buddy?
Yeah, I was in the lead pretty much all week, except for the start, and it was pretty comfortable. It was never like safe. He just never really made a push for it, so it was a nice comfy Sunday, which was nice.
Did you beat him in goalie stats?
Yeah, I went 4-0 against him.
Were they close?
I had a shutout
Mm.
in Varlamov on the Sunday, but
Oh,
it
yeah, yeah,
wasn't
yeah. That was
but it wasn't really close the whole week. I had to start off well and finished well, but I had Hart and Gibson, so I never really got wins, but they got peppered and they did pretty well. They just lost.
so Huso wouldn't have made a difference for him then.
No,
No,
No, I
Huso is
don't think
not
so.
doing well.
no, not since he went to Travis' team.
That's
The Travis
Well, that
curse.
that
right.
that helped me out. That helped me out. So.
What do you think happened here, Neil? You tell me about this matchup. What's your input?
Yeah, this was I guess a big match for Corey. I'm just looking at some of the categories here, and I'm really surprised with the goalie stats. That considering Nick has had 5 goalies or 6 goalies or however many goalies he
He
has,
had a whole
and
army of them.
yeah, exactly. So you won the saves, the save percentage, the goals against. I mean, his team, like his goalie's got like 24 goals against. That's pretty bad. But yeah, that was a pretty big win on Corey. So good for Corey.
Yeah. 7 on the ice. Now 4-3-1 in seventh place. So holding on to a playoff spot, just like he snuck in last year. With a 7-5 victory over Captain Crunch, who's now 3-5 in 14th place. Neil, why don't you tell me about this one?
Well, no surprise here. Domo, he's selling, he's trading, he's he's acquiring. Nobody knows what he's doing. You don't know who you're facing on any given day. So I mean, it's a big win on Semon's part. But yeah, there's no real surprise here.
Speaking of like Domo there and his trade frenzy, I always have like I don't know, like I always check Sportsnet there, and every time there's like a player available, something's like Blue Jays are interested. And that's what I think every time now is I see Domo's interested. Like anyone post any player could be the worst player in the league. It's like Domo's interested.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
what do you tell me about the match?
I don't get his thinking, but we'll talk about that after, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
do you think
no,
of that one, Corey?
this one here, Mark was pretty comfortable going into the Sunday. The categories he was leading, he had a pretty good margin on. The closer ones who were the ones he was losing. So 7-5 seems pretty close at the end, but I think he was not too worried.
Last matchup of the week. I'm curious. Is this the one that you called the tie, Corey?
It was.
Yeah, it was.
It was,
It
eh?
was. I was
Yeah.
thinking about that too when I seen it. I'm like, motherfucker, he called it. He got it.
Big tie here between Shane's Blemished in at 3-3-2 in 11th place, and the Trash Man at 4-3-1 in 8th place. Why don't you tell me about this one, Corey, since you can just predict ties?
Yeah, Sean's goalies came out flying. The only thing he didn't win was saves, so his goalies performed well. But it was a pretty close. It was close. Like there was a lot of close categories. 7-7. Like I said, I didn't know what to go for. I'm kind of surprised it was Sean's goalies coming out as the difference maker to give him the tie there. But I guess gotta start believing Hellbuck's going to continue to do this for a bit.
Yeah, it
It's a
makes it
big
look like
difference.
last year was just an off year for him, right? So
And Fleury's back now, which is nice.
Yeah, he's been playing lights out this year, Hellebuck. You can't deny
Yeah.
that.
I did not expect that.
no, I don't expect Winnipeg to be what they are. But again, new coaching system, like your team just turns it around, right? So they're playing better defense, and Hellebuck's just getting a better chance at saving the puck. What do you think about this matchup, Neil?
Yeah, I was well shocked with the tie. I think wasn't Sean leading this? I think he was leading it, right? If I'm not mistaken, in going into Sunday, and I think Nick came back with the tie, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I was just pretty shocked.
I think Nick was saying he was winning, but he's like he did the math and he's like I can't win. After he's like the worst best I can do is like tie.
Yeah,
That's why he sold off his
his
ad
guys,
drop for
yeah,
the week.
yeah, okay, yeah,
He's like, no
yeah,
matter who I pick up, I can't win. But he's like, I can maintain the tie. Like I'm likely walking out with the tie.
yeah. Um, yeah, I kind of wish he would have lost, and it would have kind of put him a little bit lower. But can't ask for too much, I guess.
It's all right. Sean is still not a playoff team, which makes me
Oh,
happy.
I know. Yeah, I know.
All right.
Even though he's got the name Shane's Blemish.
He's the only one who beat me so far.
Yeah,
And I lost, I think it was a 7-6 battle. Next time, Sean. Next time. So
I feel you keep saying that, but same
it's
results.
like those old villains, next time, Gadget.
Yeah.
It's just every time, whatever. But you know what? I'll take that. If I'm just going to lose to him regular season and then still win a championship, I'm all right with that.
Well, let's not go too far, but
You got to think ahead. You got to think ahead.
yeah.
We've got a lot of trades to talk about, guys. Before the flurry that was today, there was only a couple. Then today, the floodgates just opened. We have those every once in a while, right? Like 2-3 times a season, all of a sudden it's like trade day. Everyone just goes all out and okay, there's stuff available. Let's go. Once someone says we're open for business, the vultures swarm in. We got this deal happened last week. Big trade. Finally, we can stop hearing about how Husso is available and stop hearing the other end how Travis says nothing's enough for him. But we got Braden Byweek here receiving Husso and a 10th in exchange for Gabriel Landeskog and an 18th over to Patcher to Rumble. Let's start with you, Corey. What do you think of this trade?
I think the trade fits both teams well. They both fit a hole they had. Travis Dean and the goalie, Nick needed some offense. Having to wait a bit, I was kind of surprised to see the draft pick difference. But Landeskog is a good player, so like it's understandable. And Huso, he's only splitting starts for a while, right? So unless Ned gets hurt, but yeah, I think it's good for both sides.
What do you think, Neil?
I'm okay with this trade. I mean, I know Nick was kind of heartbroken when he had to let Landeskog go in the beginning of the year. So now he's got him back, and Travis did need a goaltender, so I guess that helps him out. Hopefully, Huso can kind of turn it around. He did have a couple bad games, but yeah.
I hope he waits a little bit before he turns it around. But
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
the
he's
only
facing
thing,
you.
the only thing I did not like about this trade, I didn't like it for Nick. And I tell you why. Landeskog's not playing for another like month. You already have a guy on the IR. You have Kane. You
yeah.
just picked up a dead roster spot. That's all you did right now. You could have been using Huso right now until Landeskog was healthy, and then make that trade. So that's the only thing I don't like about the trade is that you gave a goalie away for a dead roster spot.
But the thing with that is, would Travis have waited that long? You know what I mean? So,
But there might have been
and
other
Nick,
people involved by then, and he might got a better player.
yeah, Nick's been
I know he
playing
loves
the
Landeskog. I know he loves
yeah,
Landeskog, but
yeah, he does. But he's been playing the patient game with his goaltenders, and now we're kind of in what nearing the middle of the season now, and still nobody's bitten on that yet. So, I mean, keep
you're
them all,
moving him
Nick.
for
I don't.
nothing. Like at this point, right?
No,
You're not getting anything from this yet. Like that's
yeah,
my issue with the trade.
Yeah, I can see it.
I do
I
like
get
I
your,
do like the
I get your
players
point.
involved.
I
I
get
do
your
like the
point.
players involved, but it's not, you know, I
I
don't know.
think his thinking was probably may not have been able to, you know, like I think Landeskog was what he wanted, right? So, um, but I get your point. But maybe if he waited, maybe he would have went to somebody else, kind of thing. So I don't
Well, Landeskog probably wouldn't have been moved. Like, but I
I'm
don't
okay
know.
with it though. I'm okay with
I like the deal when everyone's healthy and playing. I like the deal. I don't like it right now for Nick. You were so patient so far, and you're like, I'm going to move him now. I need to make this deal now for a guy who's not playing for 4 weeks.
yeah. Well, I like it because it just like decreases Nick's chance in going up and me gaining 2 pitchers of beer by the end of the year. So
Oh, that's right. The side bet.
yeah. Well, you were there.
Yeah. That was an intense argument. Discussion, I should say. You guys weren't arguing, you're
Yeah.
just
No, we
discussing.
weren't arguing. We were discussing.
Intense though. You guys went on for like half hour.
Yeah. It
It's good though.
was.
Everyone's in good spirits about it, right?
We're passionate, man. Passionate.
We are very passionate. We are a very passionate league. That's all. Sometimes we say things, we get people riled up. It happens.
Mhm.
Clefbaum getting Jake Sanderson and a 9th after trading Riley Smith and a 12th to Captain Crunch. So Captain Crunch, here's the start of his weekly process of just trading for players who have a bunch of games and then dumping them next week to trade for another guy who has a bunch of games. Neil, why don't you tell me about this?
So yeah, this is the confusing. Like, I, so he was one that auto drafted. Okay, I get that he didn't end up with the best team, but I feel like he's selling away his big assets for players that are not bringing back any value to him. And then I'm wondering what he's going to do come next year's draft. Like he doesn't even have like high picks kind of thing. So I don't know. I don't like this trade for him. I mean, for Kyle, get it in 9th. This is a guy he picked up off the waiver. So I mean, that's a good thing. But I just don't get what Domo's doing. But I'm kind of done
I've
trying
given
to
up
understand
on
what
that.
Domo's doing. Yeah.
Based on what he said today, I think his strategy, right, is I got to worry about winning this week and then I'll worry about next week.
But what's the point, though?
He's living week by week, and that'll only take you to the trade deadline. At that point,
Yeah, but
like you can't do that anymore, right?
exactly. So
He's trying to make himself a playoff team, and then let whatever happens happens.
yeah,
I don't like the strategy, but
if I auto drafted, I wouldn't be. I'd pretty much be doing what the trash man's doing, and that's not what Domo's doing. So
no, gain your assets that way.
yeah,
Keep like a core of players and rotate the rest out.
exactly.
Corey, what do you think of the trade?
Yeah, Smith's having a solid start of the year, but rank wise, but it's because he has like 3 shorties, so has like a huge amount of value. But he's not doing too bad. But a 9th isn't the worst pick to get rid of, but it's not his worst trade of the week.
No.
Honestly, like I don't mind the trade itself. This one, I don't. I think this is it's already trade. It's like a throwaway player in Jake Sanderson with a 9th to get a player who's playing better, right? But I think it's more his trading habits that I have a dislike for. But everyone can trade how they want. I just don't understand it, right? I'm not saying it's a bad strategy. I just don't understand the strategy. I don't see the upside to it. So this next trade, I was looking forward to talking to you because I was talking about this at work again today with Travis and
I
Nick.
think you're skipping one, Shane.
No,
Yeah, right
Sanderson.
there.
No. We just talked about the Sanderson. I
Oh,
got
you're
it at the
missing
bottom of my
those in.
screen.
Oh, okay.
It was at the bottom of my screen. Still
Okay.
there. Cherry picking daddy. Getting Kuznetsov in a 10th from Dan for Tanner Janot in a 12th. Corey, why don't you tell me what you think of this one?
Yeah, I like this trade for Dan. I was talking it through with him a lot. Yeah, he has a lot of picks, so a 10th is nothing for him. He likes the upside and the potential in Janot, and he brings the grit that Dan's been lacking so far this year. Gets him also like a winger instead of a center, and only having to give up a 10th. And Kuznetsov, who's been putting up a decent amount of points, but when he's not putting up points, he's not putting up much. Like doesn't have a whole lot of deep stats. And Janot just he hasn't produced like he did last year, but you never know. Nashville still could pick it up some more.
What do you think, Neil?
Yeah, I like this trade for both of them. I mean, Kyle gets a 10th, and Dan gets Janot, which is a type of player that he likes. I was kind of a little because had I known he was going for a 10th, I would have probably made the trade myself. But hopefully he produces like he did last year. But regardless, he still puts up those peripherals in hits and stuff like that. So I think he's in top 5 in hits in the league. So yeah, it's a pretty good trade for both sides.
I'm gonna disagree there. I think it's good for one person. It's definitely good for Dan. I think Kyle sold low. This guy's in his sophomore slump. He's probably going to pick it up by end of the year. He probably should have held on. Last year, he was not trading for anything less than a 6. We're a quarter through the season, and he moves him for a 10th. I don't like that asset management. Because that's always a good player to get back. He can have some value and maybe be reflipped, right? But I think he gave up too early on Janot, and if he would have waited closer to the trade deadline, his performance offensively would have been better, and he probably could have got a better haul for him.
Probably.
Yep.
Or you never know.
Especially when you're already 0-8. Why are you in a rush to move him?
True.
There's a lot of untapped potential there for this season, and I feel as long as he's happy with it, that's great. But I feel he left a lot of value on the table by deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised he was willing to settle with the 10th as well.
Yeah, I think it's because he got Kuznetsov back, but
yeah, that's why I said had I known he was going for a 10th, I would have jumped on that because I remember last year trying to get that guy, and you're right, he was like not budging for anything lower than what you said. So
if you're getting a good price for a player, I'm always okay with it. Hey, yeah, okay, that's a good price. I'm going to take that deal, right? But if it's a player you feel like you probably could get more for, that's when you should probably shop him around, right? Like if I get a fair deal, like I'm not interested in working another deal with someone else. But if I think like no, they're I think this guy is worth this, I'm going to try and get my value out of him first. Like
Yeah.
I just think in this case Kyle made the wrong choice for now. But good on Dan. That was a great move by Dan. That was very tactical, like guy to go after. You ask what the price is. That's a fair price. Yeah, I'll pay that in an instant, right?
Yeah, I liked it.
Definitely good move on Dan's. All right, we are going to